Hi, and welcome to CryptoBiography. I'm your host, Brandon Starr, and this is episode 112, and it is May the Force Be With You, Part 2. And if you have any comments or questions about this episode or previous episodes, cryptobiography@gmail.com, or hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. In the first episode, Thomas had suddenly realized that everyone was talking around him and acting as though Star Wars were a religion. And so he decides he has to figure out what's going on. And that's where we pick up. He decided to go home and do some research. Immediately upon starting his computer, he Googled, "May the Force be with you." It gave pretty much what he expected. Common phrase, first appearing in various forms in the Star Wars movies. Then something that gave him pause. Often used as a mildly religious farewell. Religious, Thomas thought. He kept Googling. Jediism, he recalled, had gotten a bit of an artificial boost when some jokers had urged people to claim that as their religion on a census. Not in the US, maybe Britain? In any case, it would be a short article. Jediism did not have a short article. It went on and on. History, growth, current percentage who were believers. It was over 70%, worldwide. It had to be a joke. He pulled out his phone and opened a browser. It was defaulted to Google. He thought about this, tried to remember another search engine. He ended up going to Bing.com. That led him to Wikipedia. It was the same article. If this was a joke, it was a thorough one. He went to some other articles beyond Wikipedia. They started to fill in some of the details surrounding Jediism, how Christianity had been swiftly supplanted in the late 70s and early 80s, than other religions had been all around the world. He kept reading and confirmed that nearly all other religions and religiosity had died out. The ones who weren't Jediist were usually just humanist. His brain was exploding. He called Emily. "Emily." "Hi, Thomas," Emily said. "I didn't call you before bed, did I?" "No, I wasn't going to sleep for another half hour or so." "Okay, may I ask you a personal question?" "Sure, we're friends." "How long have you been into Jediism?" "Oh, well, for a long time. I mean, I was pretty little when my parents got into it." "And you believe in it?" "Sure, why? Are you a humanist?" "Yes, kind of. It's complicated. But, you know, the Force is in the movies, right?" "Right. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away." "Right. So why here? Why believe in it here?" "Well, there were, a couple thousand Jedi at most, and there were 1 trillion people on Coruscant alone. So just because we can't use the Force doesn't mean it doesn't exist." "Can we talk again? Maybe tomorrow or soon?" "Sure, Thomas. This sounds important to you." "Yes." They met for lunch the next day. "So, tell me what's bothering you," Emily said as soon as they sat down. The Comfort Food Cafe had always been a favorite of his. You could have mashed potatoes with anything. Thomas needed the comfort of the food. He had slept extremely poorly. "I feel like I got pulled out of time, or maybe I'm going insane," he said. She gave a small smile. "You're the least likely person to go insane I've ever met." "I can't help it." "Okay, this sounds sudden. What brought it on?" "You know how Jediism is pretty much the default religion?" She gave a small shrug as though acknowledging that we breathe air. "That wasn't true until yesterday morning." "No, that wasn't true until the early 1980s. Not for me." She sat back and looked at him seriously. "I don't know what you mean, not for you." "I mean, Christianity and all its many flavors, Methodism, Catholicism, Episcopalianism, and all the other religions, Judaism, Hinduism, and on and on and on, they were all collectively the norm until sometime between Friday night and Saturday morning. I hadn't heard of Jediism as a real religion until last night when I looked it up on Wikipedia. No one ever said, 'May the Force be with you,' except at a Star Wars convention or something like that." Emily rubbed the bridge of her nose. "So, did you have a breakdown of some kind?" "No, I wasn't under any unusual stress." "So, what are you theorizing?" "I think I ended up here. Someplace just like my normal life, but with some changes." "But one where you know me." "Yes." and where the comfort food cafe makes the best meatloaf in town. Sure. I thought the butterfly effect would be in full swing. If something that big changed all those years ago, wouldn't all of society change along with it? I can't explain it exactly. So what about the other guy? What other guy? Unless you think you beamed into an entire universe created especially to mess with your head, sounds to me like you swapped places with someone. Yourself, only from my Jediistic culture. What do you think happened to him? I don't know. I suppose he'd be just as confused. He'd probably tell someone the Force would be with them always, and they'd laugh, and then he'd be off to Wikipedia like me. Or maybe there are countless worlds, and you all stepped one to the right like a daisy wheel, and the guy in your reality isn't from my reality, but from another one altogether, where some other religion took over, or who knows what. Yeah. I suppose this just muddies the waters for you. Thomas was staring into the distance. Maybe not. Really? Yeah, I mean, it's strange. But in the end, I can make a choice. I can rail against something I have no control over, or I can learn to live in this new world. And you know what? I might even enjoy it. I'll get to see the world from 2 points of view at once. One that experiences it as it is, and another that knows that it's only one of many, even infinite possibilities. Emily thought about this. I'd like to join you in this. In what way? I take it I'm the only one you've told about this revelation, transmigration, what have you, right? Yes. So I can be here to observe with you, bounce ideas off of. Talk with you if you feel like you're cracking. And who knows? Maybe someday the daisy wheel will turn again and you'll be off to another reality. I'd like to see that too. He agreed. And so they did. And that's the end. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have comments or questions about this episode or previous episodes, cryptobiography@gmail.com or hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. And thanks for listening. Words and music, copyright 2019, CryptoBiography LLC, all rights reserved. Characters and events are fictional, fictionalized, or satirical.